You're welcome back to Morning Express. To set the ball rolling on the program this morning, let's see if we can join Mr. Segun Ayoola, who is a political commentator as well as a public affairs analyst. Hello and a very good morning to you, Mr. Segun. Thank you for joining us on Morning Express today. Hello, Mr. Segun, are you with us on the line? Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Well, a very good morning to you. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Welcome, viewer. Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on Morning Express. First things first, let's head to a recent flood alert warning released by the federal government in 2025, warning that about 1,249 communities in over 100 local government areas in the country and about 33 states across the nation are at risk or high risk of flooding this year. What do you make of this development? And before we move on to more in-depth issues still concerning the flood alert.
Yeah, thank you. The record is alarming, and believe you me, if every property owners or agents that agencies in charge of estate and building take into cognizance the topography, the design, government policies as it regards to building, I don't think we will have such. But then, sometimes flood can be a disaster. It can be even out of plan. It can be against even the plan of the government or the people, the organizations. But it's a wake-up call on the side of the organizations in charge and the government to play key roles in this matter, ensuring that such thing never happen again. My heart goes up to those who have lost their loved ones, their properties, and so on. It's a terrible situation. And the state government should be proactive. Most time we have problem of reacting instead of being proactive to situations like this. The rains are here already. Action should be taken to mitigate this kind of occurrence. It's so sad.
Well, Mr. Sherwin, sometimes when people take a look at situations like this and calls are being made for actions to be taken, and year after year these floods come and they are quite devastating, especially for individuals living in rural communities where there is either very poor drainage systems or poor structuring of neighborhoods and all of that, yet it occurs time and again. What can be done proactively now, not just to forestall the devastating effects, but to ensure that the flooding doesn't even happen in the first place, and if it does, it shouldn't be harmful or detrimental to lives and property?
Yes, being proactive is key to every incident. For example, if the infrastructures are adequate, like bridges, waterways, it is natural. Water will always find its way. You cannot block the waterway and you think you go free. So what we expect the government to do is to create more waterways. If there are houses on the waterways, those houses should be pulled down. It doesn't matter how big it is. The needful thing is to ensure that water always finds its way, so that we don't have this kind of situation again in future. It has happened somewhere in Abuja where so many residents, houses, properties were destroyed, I think around the Sun City area in the past. The government took a decisive measure, pulling down houses around the area, and now we are having, waterways, water find its way so easily, and the people are not disturbed. I think that is the way to go. Government should endeavor to create more ways for water, bridges, culverts, and so on, so that water can always find its way. and then directed to streams and rivers, as the case may be, regarding the area.
Now, Mr. Segun, there are certain individuals, especially in rural communities, that are still grappling with the effects of recent flooding that has devastated their homes and also devastated their farmlands. And yet again, the federal government is coming up with another warning of flood disaster looming. What do we do to these people, especially the fact that they have not even been able to settle back or get resettled back into their communities and get back to their daily activities, especially farming, which is the major source of income or livelihood for most of these individuals living in rural communities?
Yeah, the issue of farming is a very devastating one.
Yeah.
Apart from housing, I think the next thing is farming. Farming is a source of income to the rural area, and the people living in the rural area will always find their way. But I think one of the things that I know, I grew up in the village, and one of the problems we have during the rainy days is bridges. We know bridges connecting to the farm, and when you have bridges connecting to the farm, another problem is the flooding. People's farm being flooded, could be livestock farming, could be plant of any kind. But government should also assist the rural farmers, because the majority of the food we eat in the urban areas come from the rural areas. So if they have been proactive about provision of infrastructure, good road, and sewage ways for water to find their way, these farms won't be flooded. And also encourage farmers not to farm along the waterways. There should be this publicity, sensitization on the part of the government, ensuring that their farmings are done in the uplands where water will not flood them during the rainy season. We have seen cases where fishing companies have lost so huge amount of money because of flooding, and they always look for low lands near the rivers to do their fishing, and at the end of the day their farm is being flooded. So sensitization is key, provision of infrastructure is also key. So I think these are some of the things that can reduce the risk of flooding in our farm and our homes.
Well, what do we say to the issue of urban and regional planning, and also some sharp practices, especially when it comes to approval of building, projects in urban communities or in urban settlements, where you'd find people either building on green areas or building on waterways? We know of a certain estate here in the Federal Capital Territory that was alleged to have been built on a very large waterway, and then from time to time you find occurrences of flooding, people losing their lives, and houses being flooded completely. How do we ensure that we mitigate this particular matter and nip it on the bud, being one of the major causes of this debacle that we are currently facing?
Yes, we have town planners, regional planners, but the problem is adherence on the part of the owners of the buildings, those who invest. Let me go and see somebody, let me go and see the director. So they cut corners. And because some of these directors, some of these people in the key offices, agencies who are in charge, due to corruption, due to kickbacks and the likes, they cut corners, thereby causing problem for the public. If the government is serious about it, if there has to be, a deliberate measure to ensuring that this kind of a thing never happens. And you need to, like I said, I've always said this: when you have a good policy and you do not have implementation team, or maybe you have a good implementation team, what about the evaluation team? If all of these teams are not working together, I tell you, you will go front and back, forth and back, forth and back, without getting results. That has been the problem. People don't adhere to these policies, thereby causing problems. Because Abuja, for instance, is well planned. The design is fantastic. There are so many houses on the waterways as we speak, even till today as we speak, blocking the waterways. So there must be strict adherence. When Erufai was here as Minister of FCT, we saw so many houses pulled down, we saw so many devastations, people running hectare, and that was because they did not adhere to the policy of the government as it regards to building. If the government is serious about it, there must be a kind of evaluation team or a task force team that will go around, look out for the places where we'll be having this problem. You need to anticipate.
Hello,
look at the plan, the design. What we're supposed to have here? We are supposed to have a road here, but there's a group. Let's bring it down. We're supposed to have the bridge here, but there's building. Let's bring it down. So with this, I think it will go a long way. Having sanity in FCT.
Mr. Segun, let's touch on the issue of deforestation that is happening, especially in Nigerian forests, or even certain areas where there are choice trees or felling of trees constantly for either burning of charcoal or other measures, furniture, whatever it is. This has greatly devastated the soil quality, and you'd find that it is the major cause of the drought currently ravaging some parts of the northern part of the country. How can this be checkmated? Are there measures you think the government can put in place, perhaps with partnerships internationally, to ensure that deforestation is curtailed, because it is one of the major causes of this flooding that we continue to see every year?
In the past, ministers of FCT, for instance, I know I've been in Abuja since 1999, and every minister that come and go, before Bala Mohammed and the rest, from Bala Mohammed to Wike now, there have been this project for planting 1 million trees. I know if you're in Abuja at that time, you will testify. Those trees we find in Abuja today are some of the things they did while in the office, and it actually helped. But today, you see trees felling by individuals without any permission, causing flooding everywhere. Those trees, if planted, even carpet grasses can help reduce flooding and the washing away of the earth surface, which will cause a lot of damage to buildings and the likes. So now, I encourage the government to consider planting trees along, waterways, beside waterways, to help protect the land and also ameliorate the incidences of flooding, so that we'll have a comfortable place to live in FCT. Tree planting is a major protector of flooding. If there's going to be any flooding that will be so fierce, trees around there will help reduce the risk and the damage. So I think it's a long way for us if we are able to plant trees in FCT, and then other states will take to do a copycat system to see how they can manage flooding in their area.
I mean, this is not just within the FCT. This is beyond the FCT. I'm talking about other states. For example, I was mentioning the instances of tree felling in the northern part of the country for firewood and the rest. And you'd find a trend in the architectural style of houses, especially in the southern part of the country, where you'd find a very beautiful edifice, and just because there are vegetations all around the neighborhood, the house itself or the compound itself has no single tree or no single flower. It's all flat concrete all around the house. Some of these other issues as well. I know that in the FCT, if you are seeking for building approval, one of the requirements is that you must have a green area in your house, you must have flowers, you must plant trees. But that is not obtainable elsewhere. Do you think an extension of this in other states would also help mitigate this matter? Hello, Mr. Sherwin? Hello?
Yes, I mentioned the copycat system.
Yeah.
Looking at what is happening in FCT. Look at, if you go around, you see trees. It's the prerequisite. They're building a house in FCT. You must have plants, you must have flowers, you must have trees. No, it's a prerequisite. So if all the northern states copy what is happening in FCT, it will go a long way to reducing damages during floods. I know of states like Lagos. If you go to Lagos in the past, I'm beginning to see trees, not so much obvious again in Lagos as it has this. If places like Lagos, places like Kano, in fact, far north, if they are able to start that as a policy, plant a tree as a project, put it in your program for the year. Let's plant a tree, 1 million tree, 500,000 tree, and so on, whatever name you call it. So it will help. Like you see what is happening in the north. Everybody will build houses. If you go to places like Sabongere in the north, you hardly see trees there. Go to Kaduna, used to have trees, mango trees. We grew up to see, when we travel to Kaduna, along the road you see trees. Go to their rural areas, you see trees, mangoes, dogoyaro, and so on. But those things are giving way now. For building is taking them up. It's not supposed to be so. Government should take a decisive measure. There should be a law. Maybe if they have to go through whatever constitution or whatever institution that will assist to making it a law, where you are building a house, there must be a tree in your compound. You can call it flower, even if it does not produce fruit, but ensure that you have trees. Because so many buildings in the north, you will go round and round today as we speak, you can't find trees. But in those days, there used to be trees everywhere you go in the north. One of those things that has caused this, I think, is the refusal to plant new trees. The refusal to plant trees to replace the old ones. There are other old ones that, because of age, are falling on their own naturally. People also, for economic reasons, they fell the trees to get timbers and wood and firewood and so on. But when you are felling a tree, there should be a replacement. That should be a policy. You are felling a tree, there must be a replacement of 2 or 3, so that that place will not be empty. I think it has happened before. Government policy encourage people to do all of that before, ensuring that we have trees planted around our houses, even in the bush and so on.
All right.
It's very, very important.
All right, Mr. Segun, quite a very strong analysis you have laid out there with regards to the flood alert by the federal government on about 33 states across the nation. Moving ahead, let's take a look at the oil and gas industry, particularly Dangote refinery that has been making strides in Nigeria and has been at the forefront of ensuring that Nigerians get cheaper and more affordable petroleum products. We hear that the refinery has slashed the loading cost to about 865 naira after the naira for crude deal once again pulled through. Now, of course, analysts are speculating that there will be cheaper prices of petrol in filling stations across the country. How does this news come to you? Is this exciting? Should Nigerians expect that this is going to be a trend going forward?
Yeah, it's a good one. It's fantastic. I think I know that was what Dangote wanted. Now he got what he wanted. So our expectations as Nigerians is to see how we can start buying the goods, the products from Dangote refinery at a cheaper rate. Because if he is buying, if he was buying in dollar rate, now the federal government has given, a positive response by saying we will sell to you our crude oil for naira rate. Give us naira, we will give you. So now, before, number one, he has a problem of having to look for dollars to buy. It is not so again. Number two, the dollar exchange rate. Number three is the enormous strength he will put to get the dollars is no longer, it's no longer used. So all of that put together, I think if he was selling a liter of petroleum PMS, for instance, for 900 naira, I think he should be selling for 600 naira. It's one of the things he agitated for, buying the crude oil at naira rate. I think it's a plus, triple plus for all of us Nigerians, because you don't expect a local industry who is, located in Nigeria to be buying the product from Nigeria at dollar rate. You don't dollarize your product for the local products. I think that alone will encourage the Dangote group. I think for me, it's a way forward for all of us.
Mr. Segun, just before the removal of the former GCEO of NNPC Limited, Malam Mele Kyari, a lot of Nigerians, albeit analysts, have, cited that the woes of the oil and gas industry, especially NNPC or NNPC Limited, were being orchestrated mainly by certain policies or decisions made by Malam Mele Kyari. Now that he is out and a new dispensation is on, do you see a different Nigeria in terms of oil and gas industry, and do you see better collaboration between the NNPC Limited, Dangote Refinery, and other, business partners within the oil and gas industry to ensure that Nigerians get better, affordable petroleum products?
Yeah, thank you. If Mele Kyari is out, I am not aware. I've just heard that.
Oh, interesting.
A lot of people have commented on his negative input to the petroleum industry, and they see him as a thorn in the flesh. I think his ousting, his exit will be a good thing for all of us. Turn radio houses, television, all the comments against him, his removal, his exit. If that is the case, I think the investors in the oil and gas industry will not have any reason why we Nigerians should not be buying the petroleum product at cheaper rates, and also smile to their bank, with their profit and so on. Mele Kyari was seen to be a big problem in the petroleum industry. He has been seen to be a big problem in the petroleum industry. I've listened to many comments on radio and television, and everybody is calling for his exit. And I know if the government has done this fully, it means the government is sensitive to the people, and the government is the listener. And I want to thank the government of President Bola Tinubu for this decision. I think it's a good one, The petroleum industry will not have any excuse again why things are not working. If he was a singular, I think there were two that were mentioned. Mele Kyari was number one, there was another person again. But I think if that is in place, then Nigerians will be smiling, even going to the filling station to buy. It's a good one.
Well, let's talk about the naira for crude sale between Dangote Refinery and the NNPC Limited. This is something that was tested by the federal government for about 6 months. It elapsed, and then Nigerians grumbled about the fact that there were not any talks concerning the naira for crude deal prior to the expiration of the 6-month period. And now we hear that a fresh deal is being struck between the two parties. What do you make of a more viable or a more permanent deal with regards to the naira for crude deal, rather than just experimenting it months, some sort of 6 months after 6 months and after 6 months? What are your takes, Mr. Segun?
So can you come up again?
Well,
I didn't get that clear.
I was asking about the naira for crude deal, which was experimented by the federal government for about 6 months between the NNPC Limited and Dangote Refinery. It elapsed, and Nigerians complained about discussions not being ignited prior to the expiration of the deal. And now we hear that a fresh deal is about to be struck, which is the reason why we are seeing lower prices from Dangote Refinery at the moment. Do you think that a more permanent naira for crude deal could be the solution to this issue of petroleum woes that we continue to have in our oil and gas sector?
Yes, petroleum product pricing nationally is determined by international market.
True.
But when we have a localized refinery, you cannot compare. Of course, the cost of lifting your oil, or your fuel, or your petroleum product to other parts of the world is not so to compare with what you expend when you are distributing locally. So if it was in 6 months and it didn't work, the first 6 months didn't work, it could be there are some people who were making it to fail, which we have now seen that one of them has been removed. So if they are looking at it again on the second instance, on the second test, it means what they tried to achieve before didn't work, and they are trying it again, and I'm sure it's going to work this time around. So let's give it a trial. There is no harm in trial, but I'm very sure it is going to work. The pricing will come down, and even the federal government will give Dangote a condition on the pricing and how it should be selling to Nigerians. So already we are noticing that the prices are coming down. But let me tell you, there's something I've noticed.
Yeah.
Each time I buy fuel from a particular filling station, I don't know if you have observed that, that fuel doesn't finish on time from my tank. At a particular time, I used to buy 10,000 naira every day, and by the time I go back home, my tank is empty. But it is not so again. But when I asked somebody, he said, those people are selling Dangote products. So
I think I know the filling station.
Say again?
I think I know the filling station. It's common knowledge for most motorists.
Yes. I don't want to mention
no name mentioned in place. Carry on.
Okay. So I tell you, if I go to work with the 10,000 naira fuel in my car, and I go back, I still have fuel left to take me back to work again.
Yeah.
That is about 150% better, than where I was buying. And they say it's Dangote product. So apart from the pricing, we also have advantage of having more advantage using Dangote fuel. So I think if you start selling to Nigerians other than supplying Nigerians, it will help us. Apart from pricing, we will have to keep more money to enjoy, big advantage using Dangote fuel. I think it's a plus for us. I'm happy that the government is listening to Nigerians' cry.
Now, Mr. Segun, off the back of conversations surrounding the unemployment rate in the country and, of course, the level of hardship that continues to bite hard on the backs of Nigerians, especially the younger demographic, who have decried, the lack of opportunities in the country, thereby necessitating that Jackpot syndrome that we continue to see with a mass exodus of young people from Nigeria to other parts of the world. The African Development Bank's boss, talking about Dr. Ayoola Adesina, has said that young people in Nigeria do not need freebies or handouts from the government, but rather they need capital to be able to set up and establish businesses to thrive in the country. Is this a line of thoughts that you also subscribe to?
Yeah, Adesina is good. His policies are good. But Adesina should know that African Development Bank is also a player, a key player in African development. Nigeria is an African country. So whatever he does is a welcome idea. So you see, we are tired of all of this talk, and at the end, nobody is doing anything. You see, this Japa syndrome has become a problem in Nigeria. Go to Ghana here, sir, just at the back of our house here, back of Lagos. And they're not ready to come back. Nigerians are the one going there. So I want to think that with the policies of the government of the day, Nigerians who have gone to other African countries or also the other countries will come back like Ghanaians went back to Ghana at the time. That's what I'm trying to see. And by the grace of God, I think with the government of Tinubu, we will see something like that. From the policies and from what it's doing, tackling insecurity, provision of infrastructure, taking care of the market women, conditional cash transfer. What Adesina is doing, all of them cannot be doing the same thing all together at once. Everybody go do what you have to do, go and do what you say you will do. Government is doing its own. I think if all of these people, the World Bank also have a key role to play in Africa, and so on. So if all the people, the key players, are doing their work, my brother, I tell you, this country, Nigeria, I believe in this country, Nigeria. Nigeria will work. Nigeria will work. Fairness, justice. I've asked this question before. Those who were planning for this country in the early 80s, in the early 70s, they took into cognizance the population. And in those days, once you graduate, you are entitled to a job and a car as a graduate in the university, from the university. Now, those who are planning for this country today, do they take cognizance of the population we now have? Are they taking records of what we have? Those number of graduates churning from the universities every year and the polytechnics and other institutions, and they are adding up to the unemployed in the society. What is the government doing? So the government has to take a decisive measure. They have to be proactive. You have to design before you allow these people to come out. What are other countries doing that we don't have this unemployment rate so high?
Now, Mr. Segun, I want you to also react to a certain sector that has had perhaps the highest number of individuals exiting the sector and also the country. It's the health sector in Nigeria. A recent report states that in the last 7 years, about 16,000 health practitioners have actually exited the country. That's a very staggering figure. And this is only in the health sector. And we all know how most health practitioners in the country continue to decry low pay, excessive number of hours in terms of labor, and so many other things. Yet we also have other sectors or other industries, especially in tech and all of that, where the demand for these skills are very high outside the shores of Nigeria, and they continue to exit in their droves. How do we forestall this? How do we ensure that Nigeria is made more and more attractive for Nigerians to remain here and give their best for the country?
If you are hearing me, can you repeat that again? You were breaking.
Well, I was asking about the health sector that has had in the last 7 years an exit of about 16,000 health practitioners. This is just in the health sector. There are other sectors like the tech industry where the demand for these tech skills are very high outside the shores of Nigeria. and we continue to see the younger demographic exiting the country in their droves. How do we forestall this and ensure that these skills and skilled persons remain in Nigeria and better the country?
Thank you. One major key about this jackpot syndrome of health workers out of the country is the problem of the government. Ask me why. And I will tell you, for instance, let me take your mind. When last did you visit your village? I've been to my village several times. And I tell you, government presence in the health industry may not be found in some village. If you go to a local government and you take statistics of primary healthcare centers, how many of them do we have? How many of them do we have? We have so many sick people who cannot access health care. And that is because government in the first instance has not provided the facilities, the hospitals for even the health workers to work in. In a whole village that is about 1 million plus, you are likely to have only one primary health care. You are not even likely to see any federal medical center. You are not likely to see any general hospital. And also not to talk of bigger specialist hospitals and so on. So my brother, the problem is the government has to be serious. Provide facilities, engage the health workers, encourage them, increase their pay packages. So why are they going out of the country? Is it not because they have access to better offer? Is it not because people value them more than Nigerian government? I don't know why the private health sectors are paid better than the government. When we grow up, we learn that government is bigger than any individual or organization. But here, in terms of salaries, in terms of care, health care, government is not doing anything at all to help the people. Now, health industry, for instance, how many hospitals are in Nigeria? How many hospitals are owned by federal government? If you go to places like Lagos, how many health facilities do you have that are owned by federal government? Look at the population of Lagos. Go to private hospitals and you see it's as if it's a marketplace. Come to Abuja here, you will see when you go to any government facility, any government hospitals, you will be tired of waiting. Do you know why? The personnel are not enough. The facilities are not enough. I went to one government facility for a test for my son when he was sick. They told me that their machine broke down. I was angry.
What machine was that, Mr. Segun? Were you told the type of machine that broke down? What test was it for? Do you care to share?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. I was asking what type of machine was it that broke down? Were you informed about this properly? Do you care to share that information with us?
It was MR something. MRI or something, yes. They said their machine broke down. And this happens in most of the federal medical centers, in general hospitals, and you can name them. As a matter of fact, sir, some hospitals' equipment are not working, thereby pushing us to go to private hospitals. And when you go to private hospitals, I tell you, if you go to do tests for malaria, they say you have malaria, you have typhoid. They have pre-written all those records. You come, they'll just write your name, and you pay money, and they give you the paper, and you go. And so, but if the federal government is serious about health sector, then they are intentional about it, and then they carry out their plans, their policies as regards to health. Nigerians who have gone out to look for a better offer will be made to come back.
Well, interesting take, Mr. Segun, but beyond Mr. Segun,
So,
but beyond employment, beyond federal government or state government jobs, beyond wanting to be a part of the civil service, let's also touch on the issue of entrepreneurship. A lot of Nigerians
yes.
who want to go into entrepreneurship. I was talking about entrepreneurship beyond being part of the civil service or being employed by the government. A lot of Nigerians who want to go into entrepreneurship will decry lack of, a conducive environment for businesses to thrive, citing high cost of energy, high cost of electricity bills. The list just goes on and on. In such an environment that is considered unconducive for businesses to grow and thrive, what can be done to mitigate and create a level playing ground for young entrepreneurs to develop themselves and develop their businesses in Nigeria?
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Segun?
About.
Yeah, carry on, please.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Entrepreneurship is a way forward. Somebody like me, I have never worked in the government, never. But I have never lacked anything good by the grace of God. I do businesses. I think. Now, in those days, under the government of Obasanjo and Yaradua, ministries, departments, and agencies used to contract individuals to train their staff on entrepreneurship. It can be fishing, it can be a kind of trade, it can be computer assembly, computer engineering, it can be a kind of business that the individual want to learn after retirement. For now, that has not happened for a long time since Yaradua. I have never seen ministries, agencies, or departments contracting individuals to train their staff. See, I think entrepreneurship is a way forward. People shouldn't be looking at government work all the time. I must get government job, I must do this. You can think within your local area, what is that thing that is lacking? How can I access money? Government will come in. How can we assist people? But if you don't train them, you cannot blame them, my brother. If you cannot train them, you can't blame them. It's the people that you train that you can blame if they are not doing the right thing. So if the government is serious about it and want to engage the youth, they have to come out clear. Engage the youth, get a good consultant, train the youth, empower them, take them out of the streets, engage them. In fact, you give them money, not even loan, empower them directly. It will go a long way. Serious-minded people, if you apply the law of average, out of 100, there must be 10 people who will do well. If you do 1 million, there must be 100,000 people who will do well. Government is capable of doing this. Grant them access to loans, grant them access to facilities, grant them access, grant them training. If it means taking them out of the country to get a better life after being trained, you do so. Niger Delta Amnesty did a lot. They trained their people, they empowered them in so many things. Today, most of them are engaged. They are serious about what they have been trained to do. Now, you can go down to all the other people who, especially those who are coming up from the universities as graduates. Every year you see the number of the increase. You understand? And I think the only thing the government can do to assist an individuals, I said this the other day, if somebody like Dangote Group, for instance, can take a good number of Nigerians, the youth, out to the streets, take them on a training on how to use your product, your cement, for instance. It could be people who does the building. It could be people who should be trained how to make cement. It could even beyond that. what do you call it, electric engineering. Train them how to, to wire a house. After they have used the cement, it goes a long way to take this, young graduate from the street, engage them, empower them. I tell you, this thing doesn't concern me. It doesn't concern you. It doesn't concern us. That is how we have street urchins today. When you take care of only your own and you ignore other people's children, at the end of the day, when you are no more, your children will be in the midst of the people you didn't take care of in the past. Only God knows how they are going to continue living a comfortable life in the midst of the people you refuse to take care of. It is not fair.
Yeah, carry on. Your last point, please, Mr. Segun, before we move on to other matters. Hello, Mr. Segun?
Yes, go ahead. I'm hearing you.
All right. Well, let's move on to another issue in the news where we hear that the presidency's recent nomination list or appointment list for ambassadorial positions has been retracted by the federal government. Now, this is also coming at a time when the appointment or appointment process has been heavily criticized by certain individuals, including the most prominent being Senator Ali Ndume, who was on a television interview blasting the federal government. Of course, the presidency responded and said that the appointments of the president are based on merit and not on tribalism. Yet this morning we are waking up with news that the appointment list has been withdrawn. What do you make of this matter? And why do you think it might have been retracted?
Yeah, well, the president can only engage the people he can control. As a leader, you only empower the people you can control, the people you can manage. No leader wants to engage somebody he or she cannot control. So that is one. And again, number two, I don't want to join people who would say when Buhari was a president, what were they saying? When Buhari engaged his, tribal, his people, his Fulani, tribal sentiment was seen in the government of Buhari. Where were people like Senator Ali Ndume? I have so much respect for distinguished Senator Ali Ndume, but the president has the right to engage the people he can trust, the people he can control, the people who believe in his policy, his agenda for this country. But then, number three, I also believe that the appointment should be based on fairness. It should be based on equity. It should also be based on justice. These three keys have directed so many presidents in other countries not to have criticism. Yes, you can get the best from among the other tribes. The best is not only seen among your tribes. There are other people in other tribes who are also good. So you need to take time and look into that matter. But I know the president is a good listener. Thank God he has retrieved the document, and I'm sure he's going to work on it to get the best. Ambassadorial list are representatives, of the country in other country. So he has to take time and check their integrity, and he has to believe in the people, So if he comes out with another list, I'm sure I think it will be better. For whoever has criticized, they should please shake their knife and wait for the second list.
Now, beyond the ambassadorial list, one of the concerns of the Borno State Senator is not just even the ambassadorial list, it's also in terms of ministerial appointments, in terms of appointments to like MDAs generally across the country. It appears that the president mostly favors people from the south. And when I talk about the south, I'm talking about the southwest. And even in the southwest, it's mostly Lagos and Ogun State. You would agree with me that the number of ministers from Ogun State is way higher than the entire number of ministers from the whole of the southeast. These are the concerns of the senator, and these are the concerns of many other Nigerians who are keenly observing the moves made by the president.
Yeah, I don't know if they use a federal quota system for ambassadorial appointments. I don't know if they use the same quota system for ministerialists, but I believe strongly that the onus rests on the president to appoint whoever he wishes to work with.
Yeah.
But then, if the people are saying, we have good people among us, give them the same appointment, we trust them, we believe they can do better. I said the president will listen to them. I think with a good number from Lagos, a good number from Ogun and other states, the president should have a rethink, listen to the people, and do the needful. It's very important so that in future, he will not be president forever. Another person will not come and say, this is what Tinubu did when he was president. And I think it would be better for us if we work, if we believe in our harmony, we believe in our unity. It should be a level playground for all participants, especially those who believe can perform. Those who believe they can perform. We have 36 states and FCT making 37. So he should ensure that he spread all of this. He spread all of this among the 36 states. So that we'll have a good number. That we'll have a good number of people evenly distributed among the states in the country.
Well, Mr. Sherwin, we have about 3 or 4 minutes to wrap up the conversation this morning, but I want you to touch on a political angle of this discussion just before we let you go. It's about the PDP and, of course, the disaffection and disgruntlement within the People's Democratic Party, which is making the future of the party quite uncertain, especially regarding the 2027 general elections. Now we hear that the Social Democratic Party is refuting talks of mergers with any political party or any opposition political party, whether it's the PDP, the Labour Party, or even the PP. What do you make of this instability within the PDP going forward?
Yes. The problem in PDP is a long one. The problem has been there. The people who actually formed the party, where are they today? Most of the people that are in the PDP now, they are not founding members of PDP. So many of them have died. Some are saying, I am no longer a member of this party. So the likes of the governors in 1999, the likes of the senators in 1999, who were in PDP, they were the ones that actually found PDP. Obasanjo was one of them, Solomon Lau was one of them, and you can mention them on and on and on. People like, what do you call it, the former governor of Abia State. Where is he today? You can mention them. So all of these people are no longer in PDP. We care that we see as a strong man in PDP today. When did he join PDP? It was not in the PDP in the beginning. So all of these things, and you know that politics is about personal interest first, then the political interest second. Thirdly, is the national interest. No national interest comes before any political agenda. If anybody tells you that, is lying to you. First is personal, second is political, then the third is national interest. So 2027 is very pregnant. It's very, very pregnant. We cannot even, nobody can predict it. Those who have gone to SDP may still come back to PDP. Those who are in PDP now may still go back to SDP. Even those in APC may even go to SDP or APC go to PDP. So people are waiting for who becomes the member of SDP and who remains in APC, who is in PDP. That is exactly what people are. So these people have followers. Once they move, their followers will follow them. That is just the whole thing about politics. And it's not only in Nigeria. Every political leader have followership. And wherever he goes, the people who believe in him so much follows him or her. And that is what we have. And that is why an individual, no matter how popular a political party is in the state, if his people or her people believe so much in her, and the person moves to an unpopular political party,
the crowd will move as well.
And when he contests with the political party, he wins.
Yeah.
So the 2027 is still very pregnant. We are still waiting as the event unfolds.
All right, Mr. Segun Ayoola, we must thank you so much. This has been a very deliberative session. Always a pleasure to have you join us on Morning Express. Looking forward to having you once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well,
thank you for having me.
A pleasure.